Happy Monday, welcome to Tesla Shorts Time, daily episode 518 for June 22nd, 2026. I'm Patrick, coming to you from Vancouver. Let's see what the new week has in store for Tesla. SpaceX's first senior unsecured notes offering marks a shift from equity-heavy funding for its rocket and satellite work. SpaceX filed for its first senior unsecured notes offering. Proceeds from the notes will repay the full amount outstanding under its bridge loan facility. The move ends SpaceX's prior reliance on equity raises and private funding to scale rocket, satellite, and AI operations. This marks the first time the company has used senior unsecured debt in this way. The filing signals a maturing capital structure across the broader Musk ecosystem. Elon Musk stated that SpaceX will not pursue electric rockets. The comment came in response to questions about propulsion alternatives for future vehicles. Musk made the remark on June 22nd. It rules out one alternative powertrain path for upcoming rocket designs. The statement keeps SpaceX focused on its existing chemical propulsion roadmap. Observers noted the clarity came amid ongoing development of next-generation vehicles. From SpaceX's funding evolution to Tesla's own autonomy milestones on the ground, Tesla marked the one-year anniversary of its robotaxi service launch in Austin. Supervised operations continue in that market 1 year after the initial rollout. The milestone highlights steady but limited real-world deployment so far. The service has provided ongoing data ahead of wider expansion plans. This marks a full year of supervised robotaxi activity without a shift to unsupervised mode. The anniversary comes as Tesla prepares for potential regulatory steps in other regions. While Austin logs another year, regulatory questions are surfacing in Europe. Tesla's FSD reached Europe recently. Sweden's transport authority flagged instances of the system exceeding posted speed limits on demand. That concern could slow further rollout across other EU markets. The issue highlights a gap between supervised capability and local traffic rules. Regulators are reviewing how the software behaves when drivers request higher speeds. Any delays in Europe would affect the timeline for broader supervised deployment. Safety questions are also being raised closer to home after a recent Texas incident. A fatal crash involving a Tesla on autopilot in Texas prompted renewed questions about system safeguards. Authorities are now examining the vehicle data logs from the incident. The review adds fresh focus on how the system handles edge cases during supervised use. This comes amid ongoing scrutiny of autopilot performance in real-world conditions. Investigators will look at whether the driver remained attentive as required. As regulators examine current systems, the next-generation vehicle is releasing its first official specs. The EPA filing for the Cybercab lists range and power specifications. Those details supply the first official performance benchmarks for the vehicle ahead of production. The numbers set a baseline for what buyers and fleet operators can expect from the dedicated robo-taxi platform. This marks the initial public data on how the Cybercab performs in standardized testing. The filing arrives while the vehicle remains in pre-production. Concrete range figures help ground discussions about real-world viability. While the Cybercab gets its numbers, the Cybertruck is finally receiving a long-requested software feature. FSD version 14.3.4 added Actually Smart Summon to the Cybertruck. Owners can now direct the truck to a pin location or their position inside parking areas. The feature operates at a limit of 8 miles per hour. One early test aborted due to glare on the angled windshield. The update extends supervised low-speed capability to the truck platform. This brings Cybertruck owners the same summon tools available on other models. From software features on existing trucks to validation work on the next commercial vehicle. A Tesla Semi was photographed carrying ground truth sensors near the Nevada site. The equipment supports final mapping and validation ahead of wider customer deliveries. The sighting coincides with preparations for expanded production ramp timelines. Sensors mounted on the vehicle help confirm route accuracy for future operations. This activity keeps attention on when customer units will reach more fleets. The Semi program continues to move through its validation phase. Shifting from vehicle programs to how independent tests are shaping real-world expectations. The latest ATAA evaluation placed the Model Y ahead of other EVs in measured highway and mixed-use range. BYD models trailed noticeably in the same conditions. Real-world range testing rarely matches the tidy numbers on EPA labels because wind, temperature, speed, and payload all shift consumption in ways lab cycles cannot capture. Those gaps matter for buyers who plan longer trips or live in regions with fewer chargers. A 15 to 20% shortfall versus advertised range forces earlier stops or larger batteries, both of which raise vehicle cost and weight. Tesla's structural pack and 4680 cell program aim to offset that penalty by improving usable energy density. Yet the AAA data indicate the current gap is still large enough to affect purchase decisions. Fleet operators and long-distance drivers will continue to compare measured consumption rather than sticker numbers. Intel CEO Lip-Bu Tan called Musk one of the best entrepreneurs of the century during a podcast. Tan noted weekly collaboration on semiconductor capacity needs for Musk's cars and robots. He described Terafab as a joint effort to accelerate custom silicon production. The remarks came on June 22nd. Tan highlighted ongoing work between Intel and Musk's companies on specialized chips. The comments positioned Musk's ventures as key drivers of advanced semiconductor demand. Tesla has posted multiple engineering and operations roles in India. Global Data interprets the hiring as preparation for a regional engineering and supply chain hub. The postings target both engineering and operations functions. The moves signal Tesla's intent to build local capacity in South Asia. Global Data released its assessment on June 22nd. The job activity aligns with broader plans for expanded supplier and design presence. Data reviewed by Autoblog show Tesla drivers rank lower in reported aggressive or unsafe EV driving incidents than drivers of other electric models. The analysis covers national incident records. The findings were published on June 22nd. Tesla vehicles appeared less frequently in the compiled reports of unsafe behavior. The study compared multiple EV brands across the same dataset. Autoblog presented the results as evidence that Tesla ownership does not correlate with higher incident rates. The article examines upcoming events that could affect TSLA around the July 2nd date. It weighs delivery timing and product milestones against valuation. The Motley Fool published the piece on June 22nd. Readers are asked to consider how near-term catalysts might influence share movement. The piece frames July 2nd as a potential inflection point for several operational updates. No specific price targets or recommendations are included in the summary. Tesla opens its 1,000th Australian supercharger post. The Milestone station in Byron Bay features custom architecture while adding to the national network. It brings the total count of individual posts past 1,000. The opening was noted on June 22nd. The new site expands coverage along popular coastal routes. Network growth continues with attention to both quantity and local design elements. One city reported annual electricity and maintenance expenses below $500 per vehicle. Officials now plan to expand the fleet. The cost figure covers both power and upkeep for the Tesla patrol cars. The report was released on June 22nd. Police departments are using the data to justify additional purchases. Lower operating costs are cited as a key factor in the expansion decision. An 84-year-old completed the first Tesla drive from California to the Arctic Ocean. The driver marked his birthday by reaching the Arctic Ocean in a Tesla, covering the full route on public roads. The journey was reported on June 22nd. The trip relied entirely on existing public charging infrastructure. The driver documented the milestone as a personal challenge. The route spanned multiple states and Canadian provinces before reaching the northern coast. A Vietnamese-American firm added multiple new V3 and V4 stalls to existing sites. The work increases local capacity for both Tesla and non-Tesla EVs. The company expanded several Southern California locations. The additions were noted in reports dated June 22nd. New stalls improve throughput at high-traffic corridors. The upgrades support growing non-Tesla adoption of the supercharger network. Now, one thing worth watching. Ross Gerber stated that Waymo's robotaxi service outperforms Tesla's supervised FSD on safety metrics. He questioned whether Tesla can close the gap while still operating in supervised mode only. The comments come as Tesla continues supervised-only operation in most markets. Waymo has logged more unsupervised miles in select cities. Tesla's approach relies on rapid iteration of the current supervised system. The debate centers on whether camera-only scaling can match LiDAR-equipped competitors on safety records. Keep an eye on Cybercab production updates and any new regulatory feedback from Europe tomorrow. And that's a wrap on today's Tesla news. TSLA closed at $400.49, up $4.11, 1%. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating or review. It genuinely helps other Tesla fans find us. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. See you tomorrow. And before you go, this show is part of the NARA Network, a family of daily podcasts covering tech, science, markets, and more. If you enjoyed today's episode, give Unintended Consequences a listen. True stories of good intentions that backfired. You can explore the whole lineup at neuranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.